In My Hero Academia's manga and anime, Shouto Todoroki is a young male that attends the UA school for would-be heroes. He has some serious elemental powers since his quirk allows him to control ice and fire on one side of his body each. This quirk is super powerful, and he has a pretty solid control over his ice side, as well as decent control over his fire side, but his mixture of the two has been really weak and rare. Todoroki has changed throughout his time in the series, since he went from being a sort of detached and dark figure to being a sort of reluctant big brother to the class. It's about time Todoroki's outfit got updates and upgrades so that he can take on enemies with even more efficiency no matter what sort of abilities he's trying to bust out. The entire goal of his quirk is for him to have the perfect mixture of Endeavor's super powerful fire quirk and a quirk that'll let him cool himself off so that he can use it perfectly without overheating. If you're familiar with this channel, you already know what time it is. We're going to be talking about a possible suit upgrade for Todoroki, but I first want to remind you guys that you can follow me on Twitter at VocalPineapple for all the wild stuff that I tweet and, say on there. You can follow me on Twitch for game streams, and the link to that is in the description. And of course, I'd love it if you'd hit that sub button if you enjoyed this video. Let's get to the video first though. Hit it! Todoroki's costume is pretty normal, I guess. I mean, it's more or less a blue shirt and pants combo with white boots, some sort of shoulder vest armor plating, and a utility belt that carries some sort of medical supplies in case he has to save anyone and treat them on the spot. He also has a bracelet on each arm, and I think those bracelets have metal plates made of material that helps him regulate the temperature of his attacks. Overall, the suit looks pretty generic because he sort of just looks like a really cool janitor, but I like it better than his original all-white Miami Vice style hero outfit, where like he covered half his body in ice to reject his fire side and stuff. That was weird. This time, we're going to be making a costume that helps him use his quirks together or better in succession instead of hiding half of his identity. If you're new to this channel, you can check out my other costume upgrade videos because so far I've already done Ochako, Deku, and Bakugo. Stick around to the end of the video to find out who I'm doing next, but let's get started. So what are our goals for Todoroki's suit upgrade? Well, we want to increase the duration that he can use both his hot and cold sides, and we want to make it harder for him to overheat or overcool. This is rather important because Todoroki tends to rely on his quirk pretty heavily. Even though this is a weakness and he should definitely learn some martial arts or techniques that he can do to defend or fight close quarters, we still want to give him the ability to rely on his quirks more efficiently when he does have to fall back on his ability to summon large icebergs and fire waves. That means this suit is going to have to enhance that ability somehow, but it's also going to have to give him some sort of protection. Todoroki is a mid to long range fighter, and he's a combat hero that can also do some crazy stuff with fire and ice, but he also needs to be able to regulate his body temperature to prevent from overheating or frostbite. The first piece of technology that we're going to talk about is his chest plate. Like we just said, Todoroki isn't too good at close combat, and both Bakugo and Deku have gotten between his defenses and hit him with a solid strike, so he needs some sort of chest armor that isn't made of ice so he doesn't overcool himself. This chest plate is a piece of armor that protects against close combat attacks, but it also serves another function that we'll talk about in a second. This chest plate matches his new hero outfit, and trust me, even the jacket that he has on plays a role here, so having the chest plate match is a stylish and tactical choice as well. You may notice that the front of the chest plate has some small water looking pockets, and there's some sort of plug in the back. Well, that's where we introduce the second part of the upgrade. The water-cooled vest attaches to the hard points on the back of the chest plate, and it goes around Todoroki's shoulders like a sort of backpack that is also an attachment for his chest plate. It still has that armored part that goes around his shoulders, so that part of his costume looks similar to how it did before, while still offering extra protection to his shoulder joints. That's not the main function of this water-cooled vest though, of course. The vest uses water to regulate body temperature. The water is held in two tanks on Todoroki's shoulders cylinders that are made of some heavy duty and temperature resistant glass. If you saw the water boiling or freezing in these pods, Todoroki would have to be getting really hot or really cold, because these pods of water and their loop are protected from the thermal energy that he produces. The water loops through the connection in the hard points between the chest plate and the vest, and it circulates the water back and forth to keep Todoroki's temperature regulated. This vest simultaneously cools and heats the left and right sides, giving Todoroki help with his training on doing this naturally. I think the chest plate and water-cooled vest combo is really smart because it pretty much lessens the character's biggest weakness, and it also gives us some really cool visual cues for when Todoroki is getting serious or going all out. We already have a sort of visual cue for that in the manga, where Todoroki's little shirt clasp kind of like bursts open, he's about to unleash his new attack in the joint training arc. But how cool would it be for like Todoroki to get pissed off and for you to see steam coming out of the back of his chest piece? I like to think that steam is in Todoroki's future anyway, and I still am planning on talking about Todoroki and steam in the future, but for now, let's get to the next part of his outfit. Todoroki's utility belt seems pretty lazy. Like, he just has items dangling out on little wires that could easily break and leave him without those medical supplies that he carries around, so it's about time that he gets a better, more professional belt. His new utility belt is redesigned to prevent items from dangling out, and now his vials are actually color-coded for convenience, so he knows what's in them before handing them out. This is definitely useful now, since he can just use these vials or hand them out without having to look at them too closely or read them, and he can just load them up in the morning when he's putting on his suit without maybe mixing them up or anything. Instead of dangling, the vials are latched on with these latches that are included with the belt, and the vials contain stuff like water, painkillers, and antibiotics. What else is there? Well, you may notice that his actual base jumpsuit is different. This isn't just because his style was bad or anything, this was actually to give him a thermostatic jacket. This means that his jacket actually has material and technology that senses the body temperature in any given spot or portion of his body, and it adjusts it to better help Shoto adapt to his body temperature. You could just say that this jumpsuit runs off of the kinetic energy of Shoto's movements, or maybe there's a solar charger on the chest plate, but this jumpsuit serves as another layer of help and protection at the very base level. Shoto's bracelets have been replaced with arm bracers, and these arm bracers could have the same technology as the technology in his thermostatic jacket, but they could also have smaller cuts of the metal that Todoroki was using in his already existing suit upgrade. That's pretty much it for the individual components, so let's go over it all together one last time. This Todoroki hero suit upgrade tries to tend to his most pressing need, and it does it in plenty of ways. His jacket is made using technology that adjusts to cool or warm the body depending on what it needs, and it also serves as a stylish upgrade to his existing costume. His chest plate offers him some light to medium duty protection for his heart and vital organs, and it also has areas for water to flow from his water-cooled combat vest to keep his body temperature regulated. The vest has water pods, vents, exhaust, and all sorts of stuff built in to make sure that it sticks with Todoroki through all of his high temperature outbursts. Finally, his utility belt has a more professional design that takes care of his supplies in a more careful way so that they're available to him when he or someone he's saving needs them. Todoroki obviously has potential to be a great hero, and he might even have the potential to be one of the greatest heroes ever besides Deku, but to do that he has to master both sides of his quirk, and to take it even further, some sort of combination of the two that only he can do. His true quirk and his true identity lies behind that wall, and this suit helps him get there as a sort of like temporary training wheel. I think of it as a UA outfit for Todoroki because I would hope that he wouldn't need help regulating his body temperature when he's a pro hero already. But for now, while he's in school, I definitely think it'd be okay for him to have some help, especially when the main character literally has access to help from the strongest hero that's ever existed. What do you guys think of this suit design? Do you like it, and do you want me to keep doing more of these? Let me know, of course, in the comments section below, and please like the video since that really helps me get these videos out there. Of course, I'd love for you to subscribe so you can be here in time for the 4th season of My Hero Academia, because we're going to try to be the #1 source for explanations and info, hopefully, so I'd love, of course, for you to hop on board as soon as possible. If you subscribe, also think about joining my League of Notifications, who gets notified whenever I upload so they don't miss anything. anything, and this is of course free of charge. Shout out, of course, to Daruo, the great artist that created this Todoroki upgrade concept, and a bunch of the other ones that I've already covered on the channel. I'm going to be working with them to get even more done, but if you actually want to own the art book where they have a few more designs that I haven't shown off yet and probably won't, then you can buy it with the link in my description. The number one next character on my list of upgrades is probably going to be Tokoyami, since I ran a poll on my Twitter and on my community section, and usually I use those two, kind of areas to put polls to see what you guys are into, looking forward to next and stuff like that. So that's another reason you should follow me on Twitter, because I post polls on there sometimes that does alter the fate of future content. So definitely looking forward to having that Tokoyami upgrade video maybe within the next month or so. Look out for that. And I also want to remind you guys that my 50k shirt will be up until February 8th, I believe, and all proceeds of that go to ALS research and a charity, so you can check out the Teespring link to get one for yourself. With that said, I think I've said all I can say, so I'll see you guys later. This is Pineapple. Peace.